All right, it's time, baby. Welcome to Wild Card Weekend on the Sunday spread where legends are made and legacies are broken.
Woo!
It's time to make your money, baby. It's time to make your money, whether you're a player or a bettor. This is where the real money is made and champions are made, and hopefully we become champions and make you a little bit of money.
For sure.
What's going on, everybody? I am Sean Bell. To the left of me, Devin Caney. To the right of me, Barrett Brooks. It's been a long season. Been a quick season, I feel like.
Yeah, it always goes by way too quickly.
Yeah, quick season, but long at the same time. But we're here, money-making time, wild card time. How we feeling in 2025? How we feeling about these bets? How we feeling about this playoff scenario?
I mean, it's pretty surreal that the playoffs are here already. I feel like it was just yesterday. We were early in the season talking about how quarterback play was down and passing play was down. It's certainly, I think, been the season of the running backs and the return of the run game. I feel like that was a position we started to kind of, in the NFL, started to disrespect a bit. You don't pay a running back. You don't need them. And then look at Saquon Barkley. Look at Derrick Henry going off. Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs. The list goes on.
Every new
money
running
guys,
back,
right?
all the
Yeah.
new running backs.
Yeah, the big money guy.
Yeah. And it's been fun. And I've certainly had some hits and some misses.
Let me say this. We're going to talk about our hits and misses from the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But while we're here, prediction, real quick, for next season.
Okay.
Running back holdouts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be your number one asset. And you're going to pay me $8 million. Derrick Henry's getting paid $8 million. Just ran for 1,900 yards.
He's definitely holding out.
$8 million? You think,
Sure.
and I'm your number one threat while Zay Flowers and these other people are making 20?
Yeah.
No. Jacobs in Green Bay? Hold me out, baby. Even
Oh.
Saquon, who I think
Yes.
got a better contract,
Yes.
can say,
I was that guy.
Devontae went for 800 and something yards, and he's getting paid $21 million. I'm getting
Yeah.
paid 12? You out of your mind.
Both
Yeah.
receivers
I think
making 20.
Bunch of running backs, even Joe Mixon, are like, you better up this pay.
That's good.
So that's my prediction for next year. At
They
least
deserve
that's
it.
what I'm doing if I'm running back.
They deserve it.
Sure.
So with that said, this season, hit and misses. Right? Every week we start off with your best bet and your worst bet from last week. But it's playoff time. Regular season over. Best, not necessarily bet, but best thing and worst thing that you predicted over this season. I'll start off. My Super Bowl prediction was the Texans and the 49ers. I mean, god awful. Now, I told
How's that
y'all
working out.
I told y'all before I give the 49ers a little bit of pass because who getting injured in that amount is something you can't predict. But the Texans had some injuries too. Not the Super Bowl contending team that I thought they were going to be. Yes, they're in the playoffs, but 10-7, fumbling into the playoffs. I thought C.J. Stroud was going to compete for an MVP award. None of those things happened. So that's my absolute worst. Again, I probably have worse than that, but that's my absolute worst from my predictions for the regular season. Do y'all have any ones where you go, I was spot on there or I was dead wrong there?
I definitely, I didn't predict the Bears to go to the Super Bowl by any means, but I certainly predicted them to have more of an up season than they did. Look, they got a win last week, right? So that's something. But no, I certainly was wrong about the Bears just having a complete disaster of a season, personnel wise, coaching wise, play wise, quarterback wise. I have confidence that Caleb Williams can turn it around. I mean, he's theirs. They selected him first, second overall. So I think he'll get there. Rough first season, and he had to deal with a lot of outside forces, and coaching changes and everything like that. Hopefully, they bring him in some more help on the O-line, some more protection. But I was wrong about them. I thought they were going to at least have a above 500 season.
Yeah. What about you?
And I was also wrong about the Texans. I thought they were going to be a lot better than they were. I mean, look,
Right.
they're still in the playoffs. We're going to talk about them in a little bit, but definitely not given the way that C.J. Stroud and the Texans finished off their season last year. Definitely didn't live up to expectations that I had for them or you had for them.
What about you, B. Brooks?
You know what? I have to go out there and then just bow out. I can't even bow out gracefully, but I really thought the Cardinals were going to play a lot better than they played. I really think Kyler Murray had, Marvin Harrison Jr. got some good receivers out there. They went out and got Zay Jones. I really thought the offensive line was going to play a lot better than they did. I like their tight end, McBride. And defensively, this is a defensive-led team. I thought they were going to ball out, but they were just totally horrible this entire year. I mean, how much did I hype them up?
Yeah, in the
going into
first
the
5-6 weeks, you were
Yeah,
like
I was
division
on the
winner.
I was on the bandwagon. I thought it was going to be that, because I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth. For 49ers, I really thought that Super Bowl hangover is a real deal. I'm like, yeah, that's a real deal. But that's not even a Super Bowl hangover. You guys are just walking wounded. You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all was a horse, I'd just take y'all
Dead, right? Take
You know
me
what
to
I'm
the back. I
saying?
already know.
Right, so
Get
I'm
the
not
shotgun.
So I
You
wasn't
can't
even-
work no
I'm-
more.
I'm not going to say that, so I'm going to leave them alone. But I really thought that they were going to be a really, really, really good team. I really did. And they just totally just bombed. Another team I thought was going to be pretty well. I mean, come on now. I thought that Atlanta was going to be all right. I really thought with the weapons they have on the opposite side of the ball, Kirk Cousins at the quarterback
Being
position just paid them. I thought that they were going to be good. I thought they were going to be all right. I thought they were going to win the division from Baker Mayfield because I like the Buccaneers, and I like Baker Mayfield. And he's a good quarterback. People like to undermine him and talk about he's just Baker Mayfield. That's because he had that Cleveland. Once he got that Cleveland stench off of him, he washed it out. You know what I'm saying? Washed that Cleveland stench. He became a good quarterback, and when he had all his weapons, man, that offense was almost unstoppable, man. You know what I'm saying? But they're in the playoffs right now. But I'll say, Atlanta, they just, totally just fell off. Even with the weapons they had, they just fell off. Even though they had a slight chance at the end of the season to be in the playoffs, I didn't think they had a shot just because I thought Tampa Bay went out and just played everybody hard. Yeah. And that's the thing. They're a physical, hard-nosed team.
I was also dead wrong about the Vikings.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
Right? The first half of the season, I was like, this ain't real. Sam Darnold ain't real.
Kept waiting for them to crash down
to
earth.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. He threw for 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns. Right? Like he was a top 5 quarterback in the league this year when it comes to stats.
Well, you know what? We shouldn't look at him like it's all about that old team. Once you watch that Jets stench off of him, he was a first-round pick.
And we're going to do that on a later show, a future of who do we think next year is going to be the next quarterback to be. Because we've had a bunch of them. Baker Mayfield, we just mentioned, Sam Darnold, of people who came from terrible franchises, got with real franchises, and became the quarterbacks they were supposed to be when they were drafted, right? So
the bias is very real. Like those are two perfect examples, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, of quarterbacks that we just don't talk about in the elite categories that we do others.
Would you put Fields in that conversation?
I think
Justin Fields?
I think he has the potential next season to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Well,
and then it goes the reverse way where we don't Aaron Rodgers does not deserve the amount of airtime that he gets, and
for
yet
2 years.
Here we are still talking about it, and I'm sure we'll still continue to talk about him because now it's going to be: is he done? Is he not? Is he going to go somewhere else? Is he not? Ugh.
Do you want him to
retire? Retire,
please.
Someone said Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers because he's like the type of quarterback that they seem to be looking for. And,
Mike Tomlin would strangle him.
Well, but that might be good. I think he just needs to hang up the cleats. I think he should just retire.
Yeah,
I think
he's washed.
I think he will. I think he will.
I don't think many teams will go after him. I think it'd be legit. I don't know if I have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
He might have ruined his boy's career.
Poor Devontae.
I know. I
He
mean,
might have ruined
stuck
his
in
career.
Jets purgatory now.
Oh,
just following someone around the world.
Over, man.
Terrible.
I trusted you.
Yeah, I trusted. Yeah.
Right? He followed who's his boy from college.
When he went to the Raiders.
Not Jimmy G. Derek Carr.
Yep,
Remember he followed. I want to
Yeah.
go play with my boy. Yeah. Okay. Terrible
I
decision.
forgot about Derek Carr. Literally, the name did not even surface in my brain.
He was supposed
when
to
you said that.
do something for the Saints.
Remember when the Saints were the scariest team in the NFL?
Oh yeah, averaging 40 points a game for 2 games.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's back.
Yeah.
Man, not. And the one thing I'm proud of being right on is the Chargers. Now, I predicted Jim Harbaugh will win Coach of the Year. I don't think he will, but he did orchestrate the biggest turnaround from last season to this season. The Chargers being 11-6, a hard-nosed football team. Again, not with not that much talent, at least offensively. Ladd McConkey looks great, the rookie wide receiver, but injuries at the running back position, wide receivers no one's known. Justin Herbert, solid offensive line, solid defense. That Charger team.
They run the ball. They start out running the ball, and now they're letting Herbert go out there and pass the ball. They taken off the chains and let him go hose it a little bit, because you look at Harbaugh. Harbaugh is one of those guys. He wants to run the ball. He wants hard-nosed football. He wants the same type of offensive scheme that he had in Michigan, where he just beat up teams, and at the end of the game, to go out there and win and throw a little bit and go out there and win it. Throw to your tight ends, not your receivers, to the tight ends, and then win the game at the end.
Yeah.
Well, it was working, and then all of a sudden now they let them hose it.
And Kenny corrected me. I guess the Commanders technically have the biggest turnaround. Again, going from what they were to now an 11-win playoff team.
Look,
with
they
Jaden
changed
Daniels.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
They changed the owner. They changed the front office. They changed the coaching staff. And they started changing the players. How do you go from being a cesspool in Washington to being a team in the playoffs? I mean, that's got to be the biggest turnaround ever.
I actually think they're the scariest. Again, we'll talk about futures in a future show. I think they're the scariest team in the future because of that ownership change.
Exactly.
I think a lot of players, like, I know this happens in the NBA way more, but, Magic Johnson, who are your owners? I could get with them, and they could set me up with businesses, and they can do this or that.
Right.
Like, they start pitching those ideas in the players' heads. Why wouldn't big-time free agents go, I'm going to go over there and be set up for afterwards? Even the Philadelphia has had that before. Now, it didn't work out, but James Harden, like, Harris and all these guys, like, hey, I set you up with this and this post your career here. Again, didn't work out.
Right.
But that's always something that people use. So I think Washington is going to be a big threat. But again, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. But let's look at the wild card weekend. Again, we're going to go through each game throughout this entire show, right? So, but first, let's just look at the schedule. And what do we like? The Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Ravens. That's Saturday. Then you got Broncos, Bills, Packers, Eagles, Commanders, Buccaneers. Then you got Vikings, Rams. We usually do this in the second segment, but I'm going to do this right now. Which one do you think would be the upset game out of these games? Which one do you go, okay, this is the team that, because we usually do this every week, upsets. And I don't think any of these would be a big upset, although I think the Eagles, Packers would be a big upset. Ravens, Steelers, probably a big upset also. But which one do you guys look at and go, this could be the upset alert?
I mean, a straight up upset, like, it's easy to go with the Vikings-Rams line is so small. I mean, it's a pick 'em, so I don't even know if that counts as an upset. But I could see the Rams upsetting the Vikings, absolutely, like winning outright. As far as just like a underdog covering the spread, the Ravens-Steelers spread is 10 points on BetMGM. Like, that's really
crazy.
big.
Yeah.
And they did split the season series. Steelers are on a 4-game losing streak going into this game. Ravens are on a 4-game winning streak going into this game. The Ravens have clearly been playing, as the better team, but 10 points is just a lot for a playoff game between two division rivals who've seen each other, are familiar with each other. I think the Ravens will win, but I could see the Steelers covering those 10 points for sure.
Fair. What you think, B. Brooks?
I really think that, the game we just talked about a little bit with Harbaugh and the Texans. I mean, what if the Texans just turn the light on and they become the team that we saw last year, and the quarterback just goes out there and he has his weapons? That could be, a really, really good change of events for this Texans team. It's not like their defense isn't good. Their defense is great. They can play. And the Chargers, their defense is great. And when you have two good defensive teams like that, you got to look at the ability to run the ball. And I like their ability to run the ball.
Okay.
So I think that might be – I'm not even talking point. I'm talking about outright.
The Texans?
The Texans beating the Chargers. I think that's a huge
having Nico back, having Joe Mixon healthy, they can be a different team against the Chargers. I'm going to pick the Vikings Rams. And again, maybe this is a little more of me underrating the Vikings, but the Rams, how many teams have a Super Bowl head coach and a Super Bowl quarterback? How many team has the know-how? We talked all year long about the NFC West and them just being inconsistent. Well, what if you get the Rams on a good day? You know what I mean? Like they should be able to score with anyone, with Puka, Cooper, Kyron Williams, and with Matt Stafford tossing around the ball, with Sean McVay having the play calls. Like, this team is a talented team that can score a lot of points. And again, they're at home. They're at home. And let me ask y'all this. Again, we got to take a break shortly. Should there be reseeding? Like, should a 14-3 team be playing on the road? Like, the NBA does. All right, you win your conference. We're going to reseed this thing. Like, 1 through 8 is going to be based on record. Should football do that?
I'm going to say no.
No?
I'm actually going to say no because, I mean, it's not their fault that their division was good. And it wasn't like their division. I mean, it wasn't like they didn't beat some good teams. The Vikings just played well. I really think that they played well enough that you gotta say, you know, all right, we're a better team than you. We put the 4 teams that won the division where they're supposed to be at, even though they won it with a piss poor record. They won it.
Oh, but I'm so much better than you.
Way better.
You know what I mean? It just almost feels like, all right. And then
So
you have
unfair,
years
right?
with a 7-9 team. Well, it
Yeah.
used to be 7-9 team.
Yeah.
Like, I can say I don't mind because, like, the Eagles are going to play at home unless they play the Lions or go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't in the NFC North. So, like, I think if I was in the Vikings' shoes, I would be really mad about it.
So disrespectful.
Right?
So disrespectful.
Yeah.
They imagine the Eagles being 14-3 and we're playing on the road.
Yeah.
It happened that year though, didn't it? When they went 7-9 last year, and we were like what 11 and.
Yeah. But then the Eagles got crushed.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
Intense.
again,
Beat us like we
pissed
stole
off is
something, yeah.
what you would be if you're that fan base. All right, when we come back, we're going to start going through the games. All right, 2 games that we're going through next. Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Ravens, the Saturday games. 2 games that I think will be really good. Again, Ravens, big point spread, but it's a division rival, so it's always closer than that. All right, we'll be back on the Sunday spread. Once again, welcome back to the Sunday spread on the BetQL network presented by BetMGM. Devin Caney, Eagle sideline reporter. Barrett Brooks, former Super Bowl champ. And me, Sean Bell, kicking it with you. Let's go through these playoff games. Let's go through the Saturday playoff games first. Chargers, Texans. All right, 2 quarterbacks that are scratching at the elite, or were scratching at the elite. I think we all assumed C.J. Stroud would be there this season. I still think he eventually gets there. Justin Herbert has been put in there, but sometimes he comes back out of the elite, and sometimes, he's one of those borderline guys that has all the talent in the world. Let's talk about it. I'm going to go to you, Barrett, first. When it comes to Chargers, Texans, who needs this more, Herbert or Stroud?
I think Herbert needs it more, but I think C.J. Stroud this year, I don't know. I mean, it was just a different era of how they approached the game. Man, I mean, I don't know. I had a lot higher expectations, but one thing defensive coordinators get paid millions of dollars to stop quarterbacks, and once they got a book on him, I think it really changed how they played him. And instead of blitzing him a lot, I think they went into a lot of coverage things that really confused them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it didn't help the fact that his horses, one great player be there and then other great player won't be there. When you got the type of mix up of, guys going out there and playing, it's really hard to get, it's really hard to stay in a position where you can go out there and make plays. I mean, the offensive line, I think their offensive line is good. They had a running game. I just didn't understand why they didn't play as well as they should have played. So I know a lot of injuries hurt them a lot. Key injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Even now, I don't know if Anderson's playing in the game. That's big. Christian Harris, I don't know if he's playing in the game. Those are guys that, help that defense and keep it going.
Well, let me ask you this, and both of you this, in regards to the quarterbacks. You guys have a draft pick right now for the next 10 years. Would you select Justin Herbert or C.J. Stroud?
Justin Herbert is, like, low-key really good. He's another quarterback who, if he really doesn't get – I know Chargers fans feel this way because I hear it all the time, but he doesn't get a lot of the recognition that he maybe necessarily should for how talented he is, and that's because he hasn't really been playing on a great team until this year. I still don't think that they're great, but they're much improved. C.J. Stroud, I think, is still a good quarterback. I actually think it's his surrounding pieces that have, like we talk about the 49ers, you also have to look at the Texans offense. They lost 2 of their best receivers, right? He doesn't have Tank Dell, and he hasn't had Stephon Diggs for the majority of the season at this point.
Nico, I was out for like 4 games.
Yeah. And that's, in this upcoming game against the Chargers, he really has Nico Collins and his running back, Joe Mixon. Like, those are his options. And his offensive line, his protection is not playing well. They're not good. He needs to get more help in that area. So I don't know if I can really judge C.J. Stroud's. I don't even know if I want to call it a regression this season, but just not, last season, of course, standards were on the floor because he's a rookie. Like, you don't expect a lot, and he exceeded those. this year, I think he's had to deal with a lot of injuries. So I don't know if I blame him for it, while Justin Herbert has seemingly come into his own and is playing incredibly well. So it's hard to, my point is, it's hard to make that choice given the circumstances of both of them.
Come on, GM, you got to make it though. I'm putting you on the spot.
I would go CJ Stroud because
Okay.
I like a quarterback who can run. Like, I just
Okay.
like having that dual threat. I'm not saying CJ Stroud's the most mobile quarterback, but he's more mobile than Justin Herbert. So
Okay.
I would say CJ Stroud.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I look at Herbert.
Okay.
I don't think he was put in a great position. Also, I mean, the weapons that he had were. I mean, all right, you got Quentin Johnson, but after that is kind of I don't think DJ Shark. I don't think he played up to expectations. I mean, I thought that he was more of a guy that's gonna go out there like, I guess I know he plays hard, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a difference this game. I don't like how he creates separation. Lad McConkey, he's a rookie, really good possession receiver. But was he good enough to take the reins and have and be that productive in the NFL his rookie year? So that's, to me, that was tough. And then you got to think about the offensive line. Man, they've always got a big name guy going. Like right now, Rashad Slater. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if Trey Pickens is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talking about a drop back quarterback, you got to have the protection. And I don't think that and they started out with a great running game, dual threat, Gus Edwards. They had J.K. Dobbins. I mean, that's what you wanted, what I'm saying, to give him a little more time to get the ball down the field with the play action.
So who you picking?
I think I'm gonna go Herbert. I'm gonna go Herbert.
I'm going Herbert too. I think Herbert's the prototype.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to build a quarterback, like, it would be Justin Herbert.
He's
Big,
surprising.
strong, gun. And again, he's not the Lamar Jacksons of the world, but still, I think last game he busted out a 40-yard run. Like,
Right,
he's
yeah.
still
He'll give it to you.
athletic. He's still athletic and can run the rock and do some things. I think he's the prototype. So if everything comes together for him with good coaching and weapons and all that, I think like you're going to be talking at him in the same plane as Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Again, Pat Mahomes is out of there for everybody, but anybody else, I think
Right.
he'll be able to say.
Right.
And I guess technically Lamar should be out of there also, but Lamar's like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's Pat. If we have levels, it's Pat. Then maybe Lamar has his own level,
Yep.
and then everybody else.
Mhm.
If you know what I'm saying, like Lamar's hasn't had the playoff success, but if you just look at 27 years old having 2 MVPs,
Yeah.
you'd be like, don't compare me to to Josh
Yeah.
and Justin and all these other individuals. But yeah, I think he's that good. With that said, let's break down this game. Barrett, I'll start with you. Who do you have winning? How do you think this goes?
Oh man, we just talked about an upset, and I said the Texans, but what I say that they would upset them, I don't think so. I'm look at Houston's roster and see the guys they have healthy. They have the weapons they need to go out there and play, but it's little things on the defensive side of the ball that really have me looking a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got, like I said, Kristen Harris, one of the better linebackers in the league, and Okuda, I think he's out. Even though he's a part-time starter, he comes in and play when the rookies, having a hard time in Lassiter. But I mean, I gotta go with the Chargers because they run the ball consistently. They can run the ball. And, you talking about Herbert, I think Herbert's experience is going to help him. He's been in the league a lot longer, and his experience is going to be the thing that pushes me over the top on, staying with him. So I'm gonna go Chargers win. I said they might upset. They might upset. That'd be the closest upset I think can happen. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Okay. Dev, what you think?
I also like the Chargers. I've kind of gone back and forth on this,
Yeah,
but
me too,
I
yeah.
just think given what we just talked about with the Texans offense, they don't have two of their best receiving options. Like, they have Joe Mixon, who hasn't really been doing much lately since their week 14 bye, I think. Yeah, recent bye. And the Chargers, on the other hand, have been playing some of their best football at the right time. And I think peaking at the right time going into the postseason says a lot about a team's success. I mean, you look at the Chargers, they played the Chiefs and Ravens, and they lost, but there were 1-possession losses, while the Texans lost to both of them in December. So, and that was when the Chargers played them, it was earlier in the year. So I think Texans have a really good defense, but Chargers are still allowing the fewest rushing touchdowns, the fewest points in the league. Both of these teams have really stout defenses. I think the Chargers just have more health on offense, and that's going to be the game changer.
Right.
So.
And he's got Deontay Johnson to the Texans also. So that's like a bomb.
I forgot about
Baltimore,
that.
Yeah. Baltimore sent down there. They sent that
Yeah,
bomb
because
down
he was
there.
like, I don't want to play here.
Right. How do you just not? I'm
I
not
don't
playing
get
this
the ball
week.
enough. Yeah.
That's crazy that he's just not going to play. He just set himself out.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that?
It seems like a lot of people are doing that.
Is it like that's like a
Seems
thing
like
now,
I think Tyreek Hill. I saw a video. I don't know how true it was.
Yeah,
like,
Tyreek
I'm
Hill's
done.
already.
I'm
Yeah.
out. Like not only I'm out after the game, but quit during the game.
What?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
look through. I saw a tweet and it showed Jalen
Hold on,
Waddle's
Antonio
reaction to
Brown.
something,
What he said, yeah.
but I didn't like get to like really say, is this really
God,
true? Or
but
is
see,
this
I
Twitter
hope,
doing the
I
Twitter
hope
thing?
the NFL doesn't become like the NBA because I think it's ruining the NBA, the power that NBA players have, where they can just be like, I don't want to play here anymore. I like it.
Although I love what Jimmy Butler's doing. That's a story for another day.
Why? I mean, Jimmy Butler's literally like one of my favorite, if not my favorite player in the NBA. He always has been. But
Because F
I
you,
mean,
Pat Riley.
at a certain point, you become James Harden. You're like just asking out of every single team after a couple seasons.
Because F you, Pat Riley.
Right.
I played here for 7 years. I know this is an NFL show. I've played here for 7 years.
I know this is an NFL show.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just get this
I've
off our
given
chest.
you 7 out of the best 9 playoff performances in Miami Heat history.
Uh-huh.
And you give me Max Strus. Do your job, dog. Give me someone. I took you to 2 NBA finals, being an 8th seed. Do your damn job. Pat Riley had the nerve to say at the beginning of the season, it's up to them to win a championship. Up to who? Me and Tyler Hero? If I'm Jimmy Butler, I'm like,
Yeah, but then like
either pay
if
me all the
Embiid
money-
sees that, he could say the same thing. Like
He
these
did say the same
guys-
thing. That's why they paid him.
but
yeah.
Embiid got players for real.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
had I know we want better players, but they went out and got players. They go out and get Gabe Vincent. What do we do? Again, this NFL show.
My point
NBA
is,
another day.
Jimmy Butler's
But you're right.
side,
You're right overall.
I get
but
it. There are certain
right overall.
circumstances in the
Yeah,
NBA,
yeah, correct.
but
Yeah, I'm with you.
it's become a player-run league, and with the Tyreek Hill stuff, which Kenny said he took himself out in the second half, like you just don't want that to happen because
Yeah.
it takes away from the game and competitive advantage and all that.
No, I'm with you. I just want to give a Pat Riley
get it.
shot real quick. I'm with y'all, by the way. We got to move on. I'm with y'all on the Chargers, too. They're number 1 in the NFL when it comes to defense scoring, right? I got to say this correctly. Allowed points, right? 17.7, right? They allowed the least points in football, being a very good team that just knows – Jim Harbaugh knows how to win. As soon as he got to the 49ers, as soon as he got to the playoffs with the 49ers, they knew how to win. As soon as he got to Michigan, they know how to win in big games. He knows how to – Stanford, I know how to win in big games. It's what Jim Harbaugh does. I think he continues to do so against the Texans. Let's get to the Steelers-Ravens. I think we're all on the Ravens. I don't think anyone has an upset. 10-point spread. Y'all feel like that's too big?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the Steelers can keep it within 10. Because you can't even say the Steelers can keep it close if it's a 10-point spread. I mean, a 10-point win is pretty big. You look back at the last 2 times they played each other. Week 11, Steelers beat the Ravens by 2 points. 18-16 was the lower scoring game. Week 16, Ravens beat the Steelers 34-17. So that was a little bit bigger of a difference. The difference has been Derrick Henry. So if the Steelers can contain Derrick Henry, then they up their chances greatly. The Ravens are literally 10-0 when Derrick Henry rushes for over 90 yards in a game. And the Steelers' run defense is pretty good. But they did let Derrick Henry rush for 162 yards last time they played. So they have, we talk about peaking at the right time. The Steelers seem to be regressing at the wrong time. They've lost 4 in a row going into the playoffs. Their offense that we talked about kind of finding its stride seems to be floundering, and their defense is all of a sudden giving up
What's the opposite?
more points
What's the opposite word of peaking? Whatever that word is. That's what
descending,
right? They're descending.
No, they flat out suck.
falling.
He's like, they flat out suck. That's
Yeah,
the opposite. You feel the same way?
Oh.
You feel like 10 points? I know. What do you feel like? You think they're going to win by more than 10?
They're going to win way more than by 10. You're talking about
Really?
You're talking about a team right now that's not listening to their head coach. That is not the Steelers' way. That's not how they conduct business. You've got guys that are going in games that are healthy, dropping balls and not caring about it. Mahomes Pickens not care about the way he's playing. He had 4 drops. He had 1 catch for no yards in his last game. And it wasn't like Russell wasn't dropping dimes.
Mhm.
I believe the culture around there is fading away. He has lost the reins of the team.
That's
And
a
I
big
hate
statement
that.
because Mike Tomlin is regarded as one of the best,
I was a part.
most respected.
Yes, I was a part of that Steeler way. I won a Super Bowl with the Steeler way, and they just don't have it anymore. Offensive line sucks. They don't move anybody. They can't run the ball consistently. I mean, come on now. I mean, I'm looking at their backs. They have two really good backs. You know, come on, man. You're gonna say that you cannot run the rock, you know, with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren? Both guys are fantastic players. But they don't even have a starter right now. Who do you start? They've been starting they've been starting Najee Harris, and Jalen Warren is taking the lion's share of the reps.
I think it's time for to have Justin Fields in the lineup. I know Russell Wilson
think?
had a big explosion when he came in, but their
Yeah.
offense has stunk the last 4 weeks.
Yes.
And those 4 losses, mind you, they played great teams. They played the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs, then the Bengals, who were on fire at the end of the season. So
right, where
they
the
lost to
Ravens have not
great
played
teams.
good teams.
Yeah,
to
well,
end the
that's
season.
true. But they've scored 13 points, 17 points, 10 points, 17 points.
But they're playing the Raven way. That's the difference.
But the Steelers just need a boost. They need something else. They need, you know what I mean? Like, I could see Justin Fields coming in this game midway through the game. All right, we're losing by 2 scores.
Might as well.
We might as well because
Yeah.
Justin Fields is our future.
Yes.
Let's see what he can do right now in this moment because we need something else because we can't score. Again,
Mhm.
I'm with
I
y'all.
like Justin Fields.
And when they benched
he's-
him, he was winning.
Yeah, when he's playing well, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, I'm with y'all. I think the Ravens win the game. Deb, I do think it's going to be more than 10.
you think?
Last week, we remember the Browns game. We was too scared. It was
Yeah.
like 17
Yeah.
points. What was the spread last week? It was
Like 18.
It was
points
like
or
18.
something.
It was like 18
Yeah.
points. They're like, nah, we can't do that. And then what was it? They ended up winning by like 25. So
Yeah.
It just because it's a divisional
Yeah, you're right.
game and they
You're right.
played each other twice before. But you're right. Like the way they're trending, I could see it. I could see the Ravens beating them by more than 10. My pick is that the Steelers can cover that 10 points.
Well, can I get? Does anybody know of Zay Flowers? Is he
Yeah.
gonna be in offense? That's huge.
Last I checked, he was not likely to play.
Okay. I mean,
And-
that means a lot though. But they still have weapons that they could go to.
yeah, Derrick Henry goes for over 100 on everybody. So
Right.
he may go for
I
150,
think
and
Nelly's
Lamar
not-
Jackson may go for 50. We got to take a break. Coming up next, we got Broncos, Bills, and we got Packers, Eagles. You know we're going to go long on Packers, Eagles, and it's going to be a fun one because both of those teams have health issues at the
Yeah.
quarterback position. That can change everything. All right, we're coming back on the Sunday Spread. Welcome back to the Sunday Spread presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. Once again, Barrett Brooks, Devin Caney. I am Sean Bell. Don't forget your reward points, by the way.
Right.
You know what I just realized? In my son pressed a button by mistake while I was on the phone. While I was on my BetMGM app, and it went to the rewards, and there's reward points. I didn't know that.
To use
I was putting
on
my
bets or on
yes,
the,
they give you.
okay.
I don't even know how it works. I'm sorry, BetMGM. Email me, text me, so I can promote it next time. But I had a lot of points, and it was like you can use these points to get a $10 no sweat bet, to get a flat out $10 bet, to get a $25, to get a 50% boost on your bet, and you had all these reward points in the reward store. Never knew that. Been on this app for I don't know how long. Didn't know I had free money, free boosts, free no sweat bets just right in the reward part.
I know you're gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm like, who knew? I ain't got to use my own money no more, right? Like, I can let that stack and then make some bets here. So remember, check your rewards and make sure you use them. With that said, let's get to the next round of playoff games. Let's get to the Sunday playoff games. Being in Philadelphia, we're going to start with the Packers and Eagles. And quarterbacks. I mean, that's, I think, the biggest issue. Some people don't think it's an issue, but it's been an issue for the last week for each team. Jalen Hurts, practice on Wednesday means he's going to play on Sunday. All right, He was in concussion protocol. And Jordan Love, nerve issue in his hand. Now, yesterday, or what was it, Thursday, it was said that, okay, it's progressing and he should be fully good on Sunday. But you never know with a nerve issue. You never know with a head injury. How concerned are you guys for each quarterback? Dev, I'll start with you.
For Jalen Hurts, I'm not concerned. I guess my concern would be his rust going into the game because he hasn't
Right.
played in almost 3 weeks by the time
11 snaps.
Sunday rolls around. Yeah. So that's concerning, but he is practicing, so they don't seem concerned. Obviously, they're not going to convey that, even if they are. But the Eagles get off to slow starts regardless. I just think maybe it could be extra slow in this one. When it comes to Jordan Love, I feel like he's been dealing with injuries all season. If you think back to these two played each other in week 1, neutral site in Brazil, Eagles won, and Jordan Love left the game at the end because he had, I think it was his elbow. So he missed
Ankle.
a couple weeks with that. Was it his ankle?
Yes,
See,
his
but
ankle.
I can't even keep track because it's been
First game.
several
a year ago.
Yeah, several different body parts that he's injured. So I didn't even know that it was a nerve issue in the hand this time. I know that they're saying he's like trending
It's
towards
like elbow,
playing.
but it's
Yeah,
up to your
yeah.
fingers, your hands. Yeah.
I'm sure Jordan Love will start because it's a playoff game. But I don't know how much it's going to affect him, and he doesn't have Christian Watson as deep threat, option receiving wise. So I would say out of the two, and I know that you're going to call me a homer for this. I have more confidence in Jalen Hurts
No.
being able to shake it off,
Mhm.
shake off the rust, and play, back to almost normal versus Jordan Love coming out and playing fresh.
What about you, Barrett?
You all know me. I got drafted by the Eagles. Of course, I'm going to be a homer. But it's not a homer in the aspect that, this is blind faith. The Eagles have the best roster in the NFL, player for player, pound for pound. This is the best roster. Now, getting those guys to play together, it's all about Nick Sirianni. And I think that's a huge – everybody's talking about, those matchups of players. It's not really matchup of players. Actually, the matchup of the coaches. Who's going to out-coach who.
But are you worried about the quarterback being
I'm not worried about the
fully
quarterback.
no rust, nothing? You don't care about any of that.
All he has to really do is hand the ball off. You got 2-6 back there, the best back in the NFL, the offensive line that can drive you off the ball. The war of attrition is real when it comes to this. It'll be amped up when you go from the regular season to the postseason. Just like when you go from the start of the season and nobody plays in the preseason, and then you go in that first game, it's going to amp up from the preseason to the regular season. Then you get halfway through the season, and then you get towards the end, towards the last quarter of the season, it amps up even more because everybody's jockeying for playoff position. When you go from regular season to playoff, everybody gets amped up. Everybody's going to take it to another level, and I think this is where this offense really steps into what it is. Because if you remember the last time these guys played, and they needed a passing game, he went out there and showed everybody I could pass. Jalen Hurts showed everybody I could pass the ball. Concussion protocol is no longer anything that they're worried about. It's a little gamesmanship right now, with everything. He'll be just fine out there. And talk about the rust. You don't have to worry about the rust with this guy because they're going to simplify the game plan, hit slants to those guys, run the rock, keep them honest. I just think that they have too much for this.
I'm worried about both quarterbacks taking a hit.
They
Right?
need to
From
take
one to Jordan Love nerve damage. Like, you take a hit to that elbow, how is it going to stand up?
Well,
right?
that's it, yeah. When
And
you got
then
Jalen Carter there. Jalen Carter's going to press the
I
pocket.
feel the same way about Jalen Hurts, though. Like, we know what head injuries. We've had all the studies. You're more likely to get the second one. And as a running quarterback,
It might be the
if he
third one, though.
goes and run,
It might be the third because when he got hit in the game before that, he was a little loosey-goosey then, too. Like, he was stumbling a little bit.
so that's what I'm saying.
And he
As a
said
running quarterback,
And they asked him,
Uh-huh.
why are you running around with sunglasses on the next week? And he said, do you have a concussion? He said, I beat
I beat
concussion
the
test."
protocol.
Yeah, I beat the protocol.
yeah, mean you had a concussion. Like, so
Well, but
if
I
he
do.
gets hit one good time, right?
Yeah,
like,
I
and I don't
wonder
think he'll
if
be
he
out
won't
the game.
run as much, like game planning
You gotta let him
wise.
free.
But
You
and
do.
that's not a good thing.
Jalen Hurts needs, if he does run, he needs to run more like a quarterback, though, which we've seen isn't as effective when he does that. But he needs to slide and run out of bounds versus how he got the concussion in the
But
first place.
even if he takes a good shot and he is a little bit off, that can affect his passing ability, his accuracy. Like, so that's why I'm like, I don't think both of these quarterbacks. I just need you in the first quarter to take one solid hit, and then I'll fully know. And then I'll fully know, like, all right, you're good. You're not going to have any reoccurring issues. And neither one of them, I think, are going to come out the game. And they're both going to, I think, play pretty well regardless of if something pops bad up. But I think it can affect your ability just enough to give the other team a turnover. That can be big for this game. You just talked about Barrett, again, you think this is going to be a landslide. You, Devin,
Mhm.
what do you think? What do you think the threat level is? I know the Eagles are the better team, but I like to ask, what is the threat level? Like when you look at the Green Bay Packers and go, if the best team in the league, Kansas City, is a 10 threat level, where do you put the Packers as a threat level to beat the Philadelphia Eagles?
4.5. 4.5. I mean, what have I said all
Solid.
season before they were even coming to play the Eagles? I said that I didn't think the Packers were that good. Like, I wasn't that scared of them. I feel like people kind of overrate Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love as a quarterback head coach duo. Like, yeah, they went in and beat the Cowboys at the end of last season, but look at the Cowboys this year. Like, I think that they turned their season around last year, and I think that they're a good team, but I still don't think that they are elite. Especially when matched up against the Eagles. The Eagles beat them in week 1 and both these teams have improved. The Eagles have just improved even greater than the Packers since that week 1 game. The Eagles defense found their stride since that week 1 game. They still had Avonte Maddox playing slot corner in that week 1 game against the Packers. And now they have Cooper DeJean. They have the best defense in the league overall. And the Packers are now without Christian Watson. So I just don't think that it's really like the Packers offense is going to be able to put up enough points on that Eagles defense, even if Jalen Hurts might be a little rusty and the Eagles offense is a little slow to start off to get points on the board.
See, I think Philadelphia is not taking fans, not the actual players. Me are not taking Green Bay. I think Green Bay's threat level is a 7. They lost 6 games this year. I understand. They lost 6 games by a total of 24 points. They lost to the Lions by 3. They lost to the Vikings by 2. They lost to the Vikings again by 2. They lost to the Green Bay Packers by 5. Right? Like, the Eagles by 5. They lost to the Eagles by 5. No matter who they play, it's going to be a dogfight for you. Like, that's what they've proven over the year. And then you have a team that has playoff success last year. They should have beat the 49ers. But even them losing, they were in a dogfight. Like, that's what the Green Bay Packers do. Dogfight. And if they're not in the best division in football, they're also a 14-win team, if you really think about it. Or a 13-win team. Like, if they're not playing the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings twice, they're beating everybody else at a high rate, and they're probably a 13-win team. I think the Eagles win the game. Don't get it twisted. I just think the Packers' history tells you it's going to be a dogfight. So I think the Eagles win this game. But if they win this game close, I don't want Eagle fans to be like, something's wrong. So you know how Eagles fans are. We didn't win dominant enough. No, Green Bay, you just underrated Green Bay. The Philadelphia Eagles still are a Super Bowl caliber team. But just know Green Bay is a little bit better than y'all think.
Well, let me say, are you saying a dogfight as in a lot of points, or dogfight as in the, under the,
a dogfight as in this is going to be could be a 1-score game. And so you're going to be sweating in the fourth quarter.
You going with the under or the over? That's what I'm trying to get to.
What is it, 5? I'll go on the under. It's 4.5. I'll take the Green Bay Packers covering in this game, even if it's a backdoor cover and it being about a 3-point game. Because again, they've lost. It was a 5-point game the first time they played. Each team got better, but every other game Green Bay Packers played except one, when they lost, it was 2-2, 3-3. So I just think they're used to having dogfight type of games.
So 45
and the Eagles like to start off slow, and that ain't gonna be good.
Well, 45.5 points. You going with the under, or you going 45 points?
It's over. 45. I'm going over.
So you saying they're going to be able to score on this defense?
Yes. Yes, I think they're going to be able to score on this defense. They've been able to score and do what they needed to do against everybody in the league this year. They're a better team than y'all think.
That's not that. I'm not.
No, I think I said that they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that I think fans and even some local Philadelphia media are underrating the Packers.
I heard one of our media members say they would win with Tanner McKee. Come on, let's stop.
Yeah,
well, Tanner McKee played pretty well.
Oh, you see what I'm saying?
But no, I agree.
I
agree. I think it would be a close win if they won with Tanner McKee. For me, the X factor is the Eagles' defense and the Packers' banged up offense. I just don't think the Eagles' defense has stopped literally everyone. Like some of the most potent offenses in the league all season long.
You got Reed.
Yeah, you have Jaden Reed and you have Josh Jacobs.
We're talking about
a banged up Jordan Love. So to me, I just don't think that the Packers will be able to put up that many points.
And I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm not saying Love is not a good quarterback, But what I am saying is
The Packers lost to the Bears last week.
Jordan Love went out.
Sorry, Barry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Jordan Love went out.
I'm glad you made that point.
Jordan Love went out in the second quarter. What are we talking about here?
well, he might go out in the second quarter in this one.
You
You don't think Jalen Carter's not going to eat him up?
Okay, so Jalen Hurts lost to the Washington Commanders.
Well, Jalen Hurts didn't lose to the Commanders. I said the Packers lost to the Bears. I didn't say Jordan Love lost to the Bears.
I'm saying Jalen Hurts went out against the Commanders, right? And they lost. Are we saying that? That counts now? When the quarterback gets. But I'm saying when the quarterback gets injured, you put that to the side, no? Or I can say Jalen Hurts is going to get hurt in that game too. Like we can do the same thing you're doing with Jordan Love.
Jalen Hurts
Packers,
went out, and the Eagles still would have
won.
won if Devontae Smith just didn't drop a ball that he catches 9 times out of 10.
But they didn't.
I could
do
the
that.
Packers
We could do that all day.
didn't beat the Bears last week, a team that's in complete disarray.
But that's my point. It's all right, and you lost to the Falcons earlier this season. Like we could do this all day long, where you go, well, you didn't do this against that team, you didn't do that against that team. But the average of what you are is the Green Bay Packers being a really good team. I can't believe
brothers and sisters always fight. Brothers and sisters always fight.
I can't believe I'm picking the Eagles to win and y'all fight me so much.
No, we don't say we.
Both of y'all. Both of y'all are fighting me so much about me.
Look, I'm the big
sounding
brother.
wrong,
okay,
and I'm picking the Eagles.
I'm the big brother, and you're the middle child, and you're trying to tell the younger child what to do.
I'm trying to tell both the kids. I'm trying to tell my older brother and my younger sister that this is going to be a tight game.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
No, but
I'm still picking the Eagles. Y'all making me sound like I'm hating on the Eagles right now.
I just don't. I don't get why people. So we talk about bias, like where we underrate certain quarterbacks and teams, and I think the Packers are a team that we constantly just give too much credit to because of their winning history. We just assume that they're like this great team all the time, and I'm saying that they're a good team, but I'm not scared of them.
Zaire Alexander out.
You don't have to.
That's huge.
Scared. But again, they haven't been blown out by anybody in football, and all of a sudden you feel like they're just going to be blown out.
We'll put it like this.
I don't think they're going to be blown out. I didn't say that. I agree. I think it's going to be like a 7-point game, like a 1-score game.
Well, I'm going to say this.
Eagles kicker is all.
What are we arguing for then?
I don't know because you like to fight with me. All I said was that the Packers lost to the Bears last week, and you were like, "Well, the Eagles lost to the Commanders." I'm like, "Okay, you're right. They did." I'm just saying the Packers lost to the Bears last week. As in, like 6 days ago.
I'm telling Mom. I was going to say, I'm going to tell him Mom. I'm telling Mom. You know, but
We're going to break.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sunday Spread.
Are we welcome?
Devin's never welcome. We were having such a nice, calm show.
That's hurtful.
Until... You're mean to me, Devin. That's all it is.
You're mean to me. You just like to fight with me. Everything I say, especially if it's pro Philadelphia, anything.
Sorry, I hate it.
By the way, the city that you live in, you just find a way to fight with me. You're so combative. You deep-rooted hate for me in Philadelphia.
How are the Sixers doing?
They're actually like a little bit better. I think they're above 500
they
for
won a
one.
really bad team, but they were good. Yeah.
I actually like this.
Yeah, you
like
the
Joel
Sixers.
Embiid.
You like basketball.
I just want to poke and prod real quick. All right, let's move on. Okay, just something that maybe we'll agree with. Broncos,
you chose the
Bills.
most painful Philadelphia team, by the way. Like the one team that you like in Philly is like the most.
Well, they're not even my team. I don't have a basketball team.
Okay,
the Nets moved to Brooklyn. I said I'm out also.
Yeah.
If you don't want to support where I'm from, then bye. I don't have a basketball team.
I'll call him,
but I like Joel.
Every time I say he's not even talking about football. I'll call a show in and put him on just to get him off basketball. He ran and raved about the
I'll
new
talk to
stadium,
everybody.
That new stadium, which is going to be here in what, 2030?
Like 30 years from
years.
now. Football, guys. Football. Broncos, Bills. Yeah. Do the Broncos have a chance? I guess that's
not a
the
chance,
question,
but we're talking about a defense that lines up pretty well. Like, we don't trip off how well the Bills are playing and the lack of weapons really seriously that Josh Allen has had to work with. You know, I like Keon Colton, but he just got healthy past couple games playing well. But they got back boy back there. Shakir, really good slot receiver. End of the day, Cooper is their number one. But Josh Allen has controlled this offense and really been very productive. Can this defense of Denver's played very well. They don't get sacked. Josh Allen doesn't get sacked a lot. But if there's one team that could really rush the passer defensively and make them think about it, it has to be this Denver team. I mean, I like them. I like what they do up front. They play well. So I really want to see,
Big spread 9.
What
do you pick there? Did the Bills win by more than 9?
I think the Bills win, but not more than 9.
Okay.
I'm going.
The Broncos covering.
Yeah, they're going to cover. They're going to beat them. They're going to cover. But, man, I really like this defense, man. You got Patrick Surtain, line him up against Cooper. You could take, control this game.
Yeah.
And you can't really Bo Nix, and that's the big thing right there. Bo Nix being a rookie, going into a playoff game. To me, that's just the ultimate factor of why they will at least cover, but they'll lose the game because of his, immaturity. Not bad immaturity, but immaturity just not having, what you need to be a veteran quarterback in the NFL in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Rookie quarterback, 2 rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs this year. What do you think, Def?
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix is playing really, really well.
Yeah.
So you have to give him credit for that. And he's another quarterback who I feel maybe it's because we're on the East Coast here. So, and we don't, the Broncos aren't necessarily like front and center in who we're looking at. But I feel like he's another quarterback who hasn't really been discussed a lot for the season that he's having. He's playing really well. So you have to give him credit there. And their defense is really good. This is kind of like a underrated, could be a good game, strength versus strength.
Yes.
You have a top 5 scoring offense against top 5 scoring defense. But Denver's defense did give up more points towards the end of the season. Their run defense, Broncos run defense is really good. At the end of the day, though, I think it comes down to the Bills offense and Josh Allen and the MVP season that he's having, because he has had an MVP season throughout the regular season. And I think that they will just continue rolling. It's going to be too much for this Broncos defense to try to contain. The 9 points is a lot, so I agree with you, Barrett. I could see the Broncos potentially covering that, but I definitely think the Bills win, especially playing at home. Do we know what the weather is going to be? Is it going to be?
It's going to be, I'm looking at the weather right now. It's going to be about 32 degrees, 29 maybe during the game time, 9 miles per hour per wind.
No
It's
snow?
going to snow the day before and snow the day after. So it's not scheduled to snow on Sunday, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. But also they play in Denver, so I guess they're
yeah.
kind of used to it. I don't know. But I mean, the Broncos have finished the season, I think, at least for me, exceeding expectations. I didn't think that they would be as good as they are even in the postseason. But then you look back to who they've beaten recently, and it hasn't been good teams. I remember we had this conversation earlier in the season where I was like, guys, the Broncos, like, don't look now, but they're sneaky good. Then Sean pointed out everyone they beat, and then the Broncos proceeded to lose because they hadn't beaten any teams with winning records. So
that's the funny part. I don't know if I was dead wrong or right about the Broncos.
Right,
because the Broncos,
but they're so hard to figure out.
Yeah, because I was like, Bo Nix should not have been a first round. I was dead wrong about that at the very least. I was like, first round quarterback, he ain't do any of that in
world
college.
Right,
like exactly. Tour. But again, at the same time, let's go over who they beat, right? Because I'm like, I don't know if I was right about them being not that good or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the teams they beat. They beat the Chiefs. That doesn't count.
Shut out the Chiefs, but it was Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
so
doesn't count. None of their players play. So you take that away.
Let me hate on that a little bit. I'm not glad that he didn't win, but I'm glad that he didn't win.
Carson.
Didn't just lose, got shut out.
I mean, they were talking about him being a starter
next year.
Yeah.
That was his audition.
I
said it last week.
The
it was his audition.
did not go well.
He ain't get that role.
So that's why I said. That's why I said what I said.
They beat the Colts, the Browns, the Raiders, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, the Raiders, the Jets, and the Buccaneers. So they beat one playoff team, and that was the Buccaneers early.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they've really benefited from having a soft schedule. The only playoff team they beat is the Buccaneers, and that was in September. With that said, that means the Bills are going to blow the doors off. now that I look at that, I'm like, okay. That puts it in perspective. I think the Bills win by 2 scores in this game at the very least because, again, the Broncos haven't played anything.
Yeah, and one other factor to keep in mind is I don't think the whole home field, playing in front of the home crowd matters for certain teams. I think it absolutely matters in front of a Buffalo fan base that is so hungry for a Super Bowl and to go deep into the playoffs. And I think that they feel in their bones that, this could be their year against a rookie quarterback.
And I hope they're throwing
Against a rookie
snow.
quarterback who
Yeah.
has not played in that
Yeah.
environment before.
I hope
So
they're throwing snowballs,
factor.
all those things.
Yeah.
That's when it's fun.
Breaking tables.
Yeah. Let's go to the next game, which is another rookie quarterback. Commanders, Bucks. The Commanders, again, good team. 11 wins, I believe. Bucks, not as many wins, but they're veterans. They won a playoff game last year. Baker Mayfield has played great football. They got they got guys who still have some of that Super Bowl winning stench on them. Barrett, I'll start with you. Bucks, Commanders. I remember y'all saying out of the teams that the Eagles were going to play, you're not scared of anybody, but the Bucks is the team you didn't want to play the most because of the history. Do you think the Bucks get an upset in this wild card weekend?
Yes.
Even though they're home, I still think it's kind of an upset.
Yes.
They're favored.
I think the Bucks are going to win, and
Oh,
I
that's
think they're
right.
going
They
to
are
win.
favored.
They're going to win in convincing fashion. I just think that defensively, Todd Bowles is going to have something for that rookie quarterback. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on him. Daniels is a hell of a quarterback, but you have to stop the run, and we know Todd Bowles will stop the run. But all the exotic blitzes, they're going to blitz the hell out of Jaden Daniels. They're going to blitz him. He's not going to know where to go with the ball or anything like that. Say what you want to say. And I think that factor. And plus, you got a quarterback on the other side of the ball in Baker Mayfield. He just gets it done. I don't know how he does it. He gets it done. He gets it. He got his quarterback 1,000 yards with 5 minutes left on the clock? 5 minutes left in the game. He made sure he got his receiver his bonus and submitted him a history for 11,000-yard receiving.
Tied with
years.
Jerry Rice.
That is
The great
amazing.
Mike Evans. Take him back. And that's how you do it. He won $3 million off of that.
Yeah.
See?
That's how you
Yeah.
do it, teams. I know, Barry, a lot of teams are like, nah. Who was it this past week didn't play somebody because they had like a $500,000 bonus?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, like they
I'd be
didn't
mad.
want to pay them?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was somebody that was supposed to start and they didn't start all of a sudden. It may have been a quarterback.
Wow.
Somebody was like, nah. Maybe was it Drew Lock? It was some team like that where like if he
No,
starts
Drew played.
if he starts this amount of games, he gets another $500,000. They were like, nope, you're not playing this game all of a sudden.
Well,
Wow.
We're going to the third stringer. I forgot it was a second string quarterback that if he would have got another start would have got $500,000. So they played the third string quarterback.
That's crazy. But your guy, Bucky Irvin,
mm-hmm.
you open my eyes. He is the real deal because I like Rashard White.
Oh, Kenny Craig, Cooper Rush.
Oh,
If Cooper Rush would have
good.
started
Yeah.
last week again,
Mhm.
he would have got I think $500,000.
Mhm.
So they started to go with the third string quarterback.
They did start him. They did. That's right. They did.
Jerry Jones,
Wow,
cheap
Jerry.
ass.
Oh man,
So
that's underhanded right there.
with that said, I didn't hear who y'all. You think the Bucks are going to get an upset? Deb,
Mhm.
you think the Bucks also get an upset?
The Bucks are favored.
Not upset. Sorry, I think the Bucks win. Commanders have the better record. I keep forgetting, but the Bucks are
Yeah.
at home.
Yes, I think the Bucks will win, and I think they'll cover the 3-point spread. I just think that they, especially offensively, are very potent and scary. They have Mike Evans. They have Bucky Irving. I like him to get a
Your guy,
touchdown.
yep.
Yeah, open Barrett's eyes to Bucky Irving. Baker Mayfield's playing really well, and they have Todd Bowles controlling that defense, and I think that he will have a plan to limit and shut down Jaden Daniels and the Washington offense. So I like the Bucks.
Now,
Yeah.
does that send the Eagles, if they win, does that send them to Minnesota to play, or whoever the winner between Minnesota?
I don't know.
Rams?
That's a good
No,
question.
I don't think so, but I'm gonna let Kenny figure that out.
Yeah,
because
I don't
that
know.
stuff always confuses me if I don't have the paper sheet right in front of me. Yeah, I'm with y'all. I got the Bucks winning this game solely on Todd Bowles making
Yes.
a rookie quarterback life hell. All right, I mean, again, any quarterback's life hell because how good Todd Bowles is, but particularly a rookie quarterback. Let's go to Vikings-Rams.
This is gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know
I
what
can believe
the
it's a
Rams
pick
are.
'em. Like it's 1-point spread.
Yeah, Rams
Go
at
either
home.
way.
It can go either way. We do, again, NFC West this year. We don't know what the team is going to do. You've said that all year, Devin. What do you think about this game?
So any other week, I think I would have said Vikings, and I would have laughed at the spread because they're the better team. But given what I saw from the Vikings, I was talking about dead right and dead wrong last week. I thought the Vikings were going to beat the Lions, and I think part of that could have been biased because I wanted the Vikings to beat the Lions because I didn't want the Lions to get the 1 seed. But they got beat by the Lions, and Sam Darnold did not look right, and because of that, it's hard to bet against this Rams offense that has, tried and tested Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Cooper Rush, Kyron Williams. I think the Vikings have the edge on defense, but their offense just didn't show me enough last week against a Detroit defense that isn't that scary to me. I'm not saying the Rams have a great defense either, but I just, given what I saw from the Vikings offense last week, I like the Rams here.
I honestly feel the same way. I just don't think that once you shut Justin Jefferson down I didn't see Addison do anything last week. He did nothing last week, and that kind of
Justin Jefferson didn't. I had him in my touchdown parlay last week,
and they shut him down, and they heated him up so bad that he couldn't make a play. I was like, come on, man. So I really like the Rams' potential to score, even on that good defense. I like the Rams' potential to score on it because I sat there and watched, that offense get shut down against, the Detroit Lions, who absolutely are the walking wounded. They have nothing left in the tank. They were bringing out guys that hadn't played in a long time, and they were able to shut that offense down. So there's no way I can go with them right now. I got to go with the Rams, who can score, who can run the ball. And, I'm going against my mindset of, going against the better defensive coordinator, and I'm going to go with the Rams beating Minnesota.
Yeah, I can't do it. The Rams ain't the Lions. Like, y'all judging a lot on a Lions team that has been the best team in the conference all season long.
The Lions offense has been the best offense in the conference.
Yeah, but their defense is number one in interceptions, right? Like, they take the ball away. They're one of the top teams in turnover play. And again, when they're off, when they get
points, you got to keep up.
And it's a divisional game,
right?
So you knew it was going to be tight. They know each other very well. That ain't the case for these two teams, right? Like, the Rams have been way too inconsistent for me to all say the Rams. Again, I get it. Super Bowl head coach, Super Bowl quarterback. Ain't nothing about that Rams defense, who's in the bottom 10 of the league when it comes to pass defense. Do I think they're going to all of a sudden be able to stop Justin Jefferson and those boys from getting off? Jordan, T.J. Hockenson, and all those individuals from getting off. Again, I've underrated the Minnesota Vikings all year long. I'm not going to underrate them here. I just think, again, defense, they've been one of the best teams when it comes to offense, defense, being balanced and being really good all season long in the entire league, not just in the NFC. So I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings in this game. Listen, I get the Rams, but I just don't think Justin Jefferson's going to have the same problems against these jokers that he did against the number 1 seed in the NFL. All right, when we come back, we're going to break it all down. Like, we're going to have predictions. All right, we already picked our wild card teams. What do we think is going to happen in the division, in the conference, and who do we think is going to win the Super Bowl? All right, that's coming up along with our best bets coming up later on in the show. This is the Sunday Spread. Welcome back to the Sunday Spread presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network. Once again, Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell. We gave you what we thought was going to happen in the wild card weekend. Now, let's break down the entire playoffs. With that, we're going to bring our producer in, Kenny Henderson, to orchestrate the show and to give our picks. Kenny, come on in.
Yeah, it's funny. You guys actually almost agreed completely on all the wild card matchups. In the AFC side, you guys all have the same setup. And the NFC side, Sean has Minnesota over the Rams, and you guys both have the Eagles playing the Bucs in the second round. So we'll start with the AFC divisional round games. You guys all have Chiefs versus Chargers. Are we all going with the Chiefs in this matchup?
I can't go against them.
I can't. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey during the most important time of the year. This is where they really stack up. This is where they were trying to get to. Andy said, let's just, patch everybody up and just get to the playoffs. And that's exactly what they did. They patched everybody up, got to the playoffs. So yeah, I'm still bullish on the Chiefs. I'm still bullish on the Chiefs.
I'm sorry, Dev. Dev's so disappointed in having this.
No. I hate it, but it's like, yeah, I would take the Chiefs over the Chargers. They already beat them earlier this season, so whatever.
Yeah, this is gonna be we'll talk about it later, but this is Tom Brady right here. This is we about to annoyingly see them get 7 of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're all on. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, I would take the Chiefs in this matchup, and they're likely going to get the winner of Houston and LA because the Ravens and the Bills should both advance, and we'll get to that matchup next. But yeah, I would take Kansas City in this matchup. It is hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. They've beaten the Chargers twice. Of course, they play in the same division. So,
Right.
yeah, I agree with you guys on that one. Now, this is really where it gets interesting. So the Ravens would go to Buffalo. All you guys have that matchup predicted from the wild card game. Wild card games. I'm sorry. These 2 teams played earlier in the season. The Ravens won 35-10. Are they going to win again, or is Buffalo going to get the revenge?
Really tough game to talk about, because you got 2 MVP candidates. You got 2 well-balanced teams. You got a quarterback-driven team with the Bills, but you have a quarterback and running back-driven team with more consistency with running the ball with the Ravens. But Josh Allen has made more with nothing than anybody in the league. So this is a really tough matchup. I got to do more research on it. I got to do more film study on it. I've been trying to get in and see what makes these guys tick. And I was kind of avoiding the Ravens because I didn't know if Flowers was going to play or not. And to me, that's huge for, this next week. So I want to say Ravens. I really want to, but I can't just push Josh Allen aside. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
I am too. I think that the Bills. I mean, we'll get into our further picks, but I think the Bills are going to make a deep playoff run here. So I think that Josh Allen will continue to keep this offense rolling, and they're going to take advantage of that Ravens defense. And that Ravens pass defense has not been good all season long. I know that they've been playing better lately, but they've also played really bad opponents.
Right.
So I like the Bills over the Ravens. Should it come to that?
Well, that means the Ravens are going to win because we're all on the Bills.
Yeah.
I got the Bills also. I think, again, they're on a special run. Again, every game that Josh Allen has played, I know they lost to the Ravens, but he played the 1 seed and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He played the other conference's 1 seed in Detroit Lions and beat the Detroit Lions. Like Josh Allen has been a one-man army and has been balling, and it's in Buffalo. I think that's the biggest thing for me. You got to go to Buffalo. It's going to be 17 degrees. It's going to be snowballs. It's going to be all those
so
other
real,
things, right?
too.
Like I'm at home in the weather I'm used to, in the conditions I'm used to. And again, I know the Ravens, again, it's not like they play down south. So they get snow and they get winters and they have
not like that.
Not like that. And again, they have Derrick Henry, so they have a game that should travel. But I just think Buffalo being at home and being used to that and building it brick by brick, as Franklin Saint would say, I think the Bills win that game.
We're talking about a team you can't really say one guy sticks out on the other side of the ball, but Josh Allen. But there's 2 guys that stick out, the Ravens. You're talking about a consistent offense, you got to go with the Ravens. But I still can't get past the Josh Allen effect. The Josh Allen effect is overruling a guy that wants to run the ball all the time. But I can't get past Josh Allen, man. So somehow he does it,
Kenny, you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree with all you guys. Maybe it's a little biased because I believe in Lamar Jackson a lot. I've also watched in-season Hard Knocks and John Harbaugh and his mentality towards this. They were so close last year. I don't believe in Sean McDermott. I don't think he's the long-term answer to help Josh Allen get to a Super Bowl. And even if they would win this game against the Ravens, I don't think they would beat Kansas City. I think the Ravens are the real threat. They came off a late bye. Lamar Jackson had a rough game against Philly. And he said after the game, he's got to get his you-know-what together. And he really has. And they've really beat down on teams. And I think they're the real threat to Kansas City. And I think that this Ravens-Bills game would be phenomenal. Go to the very end. One of the better playoff games we've seen in recent memory.
Yes.
These 2 offenses are by far, by every metric, the 2 best offenses in the National Football League. But I would have to give the edge to the Ravens because I think Lamar is mad about all the MVP talk. He has had the better year over Josh. all narratives aside, and we know MVP can be a narrative award, I'm going to take the Ravens to win this game. We saw this same matchup, and I just think they're the better team. And you mentioned it, Sean. You were the first person to mention his name, Derrick Henry. That's the key in this whole playoff for the Ravens, especially in this game. And if they were to win it, to go play Kansas City and beat them, because that's a guy that was not there in their playoff run last year. And he's going to be a factor. I'm telling you, he's ready to go, and so is Lamar Jackson.
Well, I started to get it's sent a real spike down my spine and and into my chest when you said the two best offenses. I mean, my Philly bias got me like, but statistically, they are statistically
Okay.
on paper, not in between them lines, but on paper.
So what we got
quarterbacks.
next? What we got next, Kitty?
All right, so you guys all actually have Chiefs Bills in the title game, so we'll get to that. Now let's go over to the NFC side of things. Eagles Buccaneers is a matchup you guys all have, and this is a matchup we saw earlier this regular season. The Bucs won, and the Bucs beat them in the playoffs. So the Eagles looking for revenge. The Eagles are the better team, we know that, but they struggle against the Buccaneers. So are the Eagles going to advance to the title game, or are the Buccaneers going to get them once again?
Hell no.
Well, wait. I have the Vikings. Would that be the matchup?
No, the Eagles,
no,
if
because
the Eagles and Bucks
are
win, they
two
play
teams.
each other.
Huh?
Yep.
If the Eagles and Bucks win, they play each other. But the Bucks
automatically play each
come
other.
to Philly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're the 2 and the 3. So the 2 and the 3 both win. They automatically play each other. You guys have them all are both winning. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I got you. All right, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, of course they're gonna beat them. All that stuff. You can't read defense. You don't need to read defense. He need to hand the ball off. 2-6. Not worried about that. This will be a different game than when they played. I mean, they were a drop pass from 2-6 away from winning that game, and that was during the time the frenetic play calling from Nick Sirianni was really evident. That's just before they went into the to the bye week.
They weren't even running the balls heavily then.
So they finally got their identity now. They've got their identity. You know what I'm saying? So now as they go forward, it's all about, can this defense stop the Eagles? No, not when they're playing the way they're playing, and I expect them to be healthy. They're going into the playoff this year with 22 healthy starters. 22 healthy starters. That means a lot. You know what I'm saying? That means an awful lot when you're thinking about the dynamics of guys falling off. I mean, they still don't have their second best receiver in. So they've got Mike Evans, the great Mike Evans. I got to put that tag on him.
Yeah, you do.
But I don't know. Quinyon gave him something to play about. Quinyon gave it to him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I have a lot of confidence. I mean, he's the first guy to really show Quinyon what the NFL is about, but he's still stuck with him. So my money's going with the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm with Barrett. I think the Eagles, I don't like playing the Bucks because it brings back bad memories.
Right.
The Bucks and Todd Bowles have kind of had the Eagles number. But the last time they played earlier this season, I mean, it was like, it was during a hurricane. It was like 99% humidity. Players were passing out on the sidelines on both teams.
Yeah.
It was just a disaster. So I don't think there's much you can take away from that one. And the Eagles really found their identity on both sides of the ball since that early season game as well. So I do think that the Eagles could beat the Bucks, especially with the Bucks coming up to Philly where it's going to be cold and weather will be a factor.
I think it'll be a shellacking too. I mean, it'll be convincing.
Eagles. Eagles are going to win this game. I don't think it'll be a shellacking, but it'll be – Eagles have a tendency to play annoyingly close games where it's just like –
Trust me, I know.
Right? Like, it'd be like you've been dominating this game, but somehow they are like – you know what I mean?
Yeah.
9 points away, where if they make this field goal, then it'd be like, you know what I mean? It's just like – and then they put it away late in the game where it's just like, all right, there's no doubt with 5 minutes left. But I think this would be one of those games. Like,
they take a while to get there.
Can we put this thing away already? Why is this thing within distance for the other team? That's the type of annoyance game that Philadelphia loves to play that I think it would be.
And they'll mess around, like throw a pass to Saquon just to reassure him that, this is reason why y'all won last time. He's catching it this time. He's catching it this time.
Yeah. What do you think, Kenny?
You guys are not going to like what I think, especially Devin and
Kenny,
Barrett.
how many times do I ever like what you like when it comes to this?
I know. I feel like talk about combative. Kenny just picks the opposite of what we.
You're the stepbrother,
say.
Kenny. You're the stepbrother. I'm just letting you know.
I mean,
Get a step right.
not that I don't think the Eagles are going to win, but I definitely don't think the Bucks are going to win. So like I don't think we're going to get this matchup, and I just think we're going to see Lions Rams actually in the title game. I think the Commanders win against the Bucks, and I think the Rams either play Washington or the Eagles in the second round, and they win that game too. I'm a
The
big believer in
Rams
the
beat the Eagles?
Yeah, I'm not a believer in the Eagles. I'm sorry. It's a tough situation they're in with Hurts coming off a concussion. I know they're a really good team. I still don't believe Nick Sirianni's a good head coach. I think his coordinators are going to need to do a good job. Kellen Moore led the offense in Dallas last year. I'd be very concerned the way that the Packers played against Dallas in the
He
wild card
coached
last
for the
year.
Chargers last year.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're
I
right.
want to pull the plug on Kenny right now. I want to unplug his mic right now.
Eagles Packers will be interesting, but I think that I'm a believer in the Rams. I think that they beat the Vikings and then they carry that momentum. Super Bowl winning coach, Super Bowl winning quarterback. So I actually have the Rams in the title game. So I don't think we even get this matchup, but we can move on.
Okay.
You got okay. When I say something different or contradictory, y'all yell at me. Kenny just gets to slide with an
Well, 'cause
okay.
He's wrong.
I wasn't
The
done-
Rams
I wasn't-
aren't
I wasn't
good.
done
It
yet.
wasn't-
Whatever.
Well, is this a man that said that the Bears with their new quarterback was going to do something this year? What?
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I wasn't
I
high
didn't
on-
say I would. You would never say that.
I wasn't high on the Bears at all. But I mean, look, I don't have to pick the Eagles. I mean, you guys
You
all
don't.
did pick the Eagles, but
Okay.
yeah, I think that I'm worried about Hurts. I don't think we're going to get the best version of him in this playoffs. And
We don't need the
so-
best version of Hurts. We just need the best version of Saquon Barkley. 2-6. 2-6. That's all we need. 2-6. 2-6.
Okay.
Listen,
We'll-
I low
we'll
key
see.
think if the Packers beat the Eagles, they're going to. The Super
You
Bowl.
love the Packers so much.
Good dog. They're good. They're good.
But they're not that good.
They're good.
Neither are the Rams. They're both good teams, but they're not NFC Championship level teams.
Okay. All right. All
They're
right.
not.
The Rams did win the
I'm-
Super Bowl as a 4 seed, and they are a 4 seed this year. So when they get in, they're just a team you got to worry about. So I that's why I believe that. I mean, they are.
spanked their
I would
ass
as an
already
Eagles
this
fan.
year.
Yeah, like it wasn't even a close
No.
game.
No.
That's fine. That's fine. I understand. Every game's different, and I would be more concerned if I was an Eagles fan about Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay than Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles. I know that they play them well, but the Rams are probably outside of. I don't even know. The NFC isn't that competitive. I mean, it's just the Lions and the Eagles, right? I mean, you guys would all
Yeah,
pick
the Lions are
matchup.
probably the team from an Eagles point of view that worried me the most. The Lions.
Yeah, I mean that should be the case.
But that being said, so when I look at these matchups, I'm not looking from an Eagles perspective when it comes to NFC. Like you just mentioned, Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, Matthew Stafford and the Rams. I don't really look at the offense. I'm looking at the defense, and because the Eagles' defense has been so good, and
Preach.
we've seen them shut down the best offenses in the league week after week. For the most part, there are fluky games here and there, which kind of combos. Like, no, Baker Mayfield doesn't scare me. It's more so all right, I know that Jalen Hurts and this offense can be kind of weirdly inconsistent, especially coming back from an injury. So, or a concussion, I should say. So that being said, it's like, that's why the Rams defense doesn't really scare me. The Bucks defense has gotten the better of Jalen Hurts. I think in that sense, they worry me a little bit. And it's more so like the offenses in terms of like what the Eagles defense can stop. And
Okay.
I have confidence they can stop everything.
Let's get to the Lions and Rams before we take this break. Kenny, I think you've already said you got the Rams beating the Lions in this game.
Well, no, I have the
No?
Lions. No, because the way that I have my predictions, I would have the Commanders going to the Lions and the Rams
gotcha.
going to the Eagles, or the Packers going to the Lions. I don't know if I've decided. I want to pick the Packers to win. I want chaos. I believe in George Love.
You want to come back to this show, as do I, being able to talk your ish. But let's hurry up and do that game because we got to do a break. Okay, you already have your NFC title game.
My title is Lions Rams. And I have the
Lions,
Lions.
Rams. Y'all, we have
And
to pick the Lions Rams game. He has that as his NFC championship game. We have that as a divisional game. Do y'all have the Rams being able to upset the Lions?
No.
Hell no.
Damn.
No.
Dang.
I don't think they can. I don't think that defense can keep up.
No hesitation. I'm with you. I'm with you though. The Lions. I felt like if the Lions didn't beat the Minnesota Vikings and had to play in the wild card round, they would lose in the wild card round. But because they got the break, again, they're like the Eagles in we haven't had a bye since week 5, and they are hurt.
Yep.
Now that they get a week off and get to rejuvenate, I think they wax the first team that they play in the divisional round, and that's going to end up being the Rams, in my opinion. And
Montgomery's back now.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Lions will we all three of us have in the title game. All right, when we come back, we'll give you our championship game and our Super Bowls. We'll give you start one, bench one, cut one, and we'll give you our best bets of the wild card round. This is the Sunday Spread. Welcome back to the Sunday Spread, the final segment of Wild Card Weekend. Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Brell. Let's bring Kenny Henderson, our producer, back in the building. I think we're at our championship games. So tell us what we all got. I think we're all the same, basically, and beyond.
Yeah, you guys all agreed. So Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles, Lions, this would be 1 versus 2 on both sides of the bracket. So let's start in the AFC. Chiefs, Bills. These teams have played many times in the playoffs during Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen's career, and the Chiefs have never lost. So does this end, or are the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl with a chance to three-peat?
I think it ends. I really do. I think this is the year the Bills get their revenge. They already handed the Chiefs their one loss of the season, the regular season. I think they believe truly in their guts that they can go all the way this year. And the Bills are a good team this year, and I think that they've exceeded expectations from everyone, myself included. And the Chiefs have kind of been skating by for the most part. They're winning, but they were literally statistically the luckiest team in the league throughout most of the season. So in terms of calls and penalties and all that. So I like the Bills. If it came down to it, I like the Bills.
I just really think that you look at this game. This is why they play the game. This is why Andy Reid has put this team and constructed this team. They're starting to get healthy now. Hollywood Brown's back. Xavier Worthy's back. DeAndre Hopkins. And when you add that to Travis Kelce, to me, that's just an unstoppable offense. And then what really is putting me over with this offense, because we're not even going to talk about the defense. The defense has won the entire season, not just games, the entire season for this Chiefs team. The defense has been balling, and that's why they've been able to win all these games with just the 2 losses. They do it because defensively they're just so good. So I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying, how am I going to look at it? Factors. I got to go with factor backs. And since Kareem Hunt has been back, oh my goodness. Both he and Pacheco, those guys run so daggone hard that's going to be the winning point. That's the selling point with me in this Andy Reid's offense. And this Andy Reid has learned since he left the Eagles to run the ball. And I really think that's going to be the biggest thing. Them running the ball will turn it over the top. That's why the Chiefs will beat the Bills in the championship game going to the Super Bowl.
I got the Chiefs also. Oh, I'm sorry, Dev. I don't want it.
It's okay.
I hate the Chiefs on and off the field.
Why do you hate the Chiefs? Because you hate the Chiefs because Travis Kelce's girlfriend?
No, I don't dislike Taylor. I mean, they have it's documented. But they have a lot of things off the field. I'm like, I don't like you guys.
Right.
And I don't really like the Taylor Swift thing either. I don't mind Taylor Swift on her own.
Right.
But together, it's a little. Maybe it's because I feel like Travis and Jason and the whole Kelce-ness is.
It's too much.
It's oversaturated.
It's
so
way
it's
too
Taylor adds to it. It's just a whole lot of
I agree.
storyline stuff when you bring it together. Like individually, I like all of y'all individually. That's a funny thing. Like.
No. I actually totally agree, and that's perfectly said, Sean. Like, I'm a Swiftie. I love Taylor Swift. I think I'm in the definitely in the minority of Swifties who I've never, but I feel like I have to whisper this because I don't want Swifties yelling at me. Like, I'm one of you. I promise. I love Taylor Swift and her music. I don't like her and I think it's just I'm sick of it. Like, I'm sick of, and it's more so on the Kelce side of things. Taylor Swift is always going to be the biggest pop star in the world. Like, you can't do anything about that. It's I love Jason Kelce on his own. Travis Kelce's whatever on his own. I don't really he's there. He's good at football. He's getting a little washed up though. Can we admit that? But anyways, Yeah, it's like all together. It's too much.
Yeah,
It's too
just-
much.
I like Jason, like Travis. I'm cool with Taylor.
It's too much.
Yeah,
It-
I
it's
get it.
too much. And there's
I think
there's
everyone
also
agrees.
individuals
Apparently,
I
their
don't like.
podcast is not doing well right now because I think it's too much. It's overexposure is real.
This sounds like hate. I don't,
And then
I don't
also-
like how much hate.
Then also, and even Mahomes and the Mahomes brother, you know, I mean, it's,
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mahomes, Bucker, whatever his name is. and it's- I'm good on y'all.
Bucker.
The
Who's-
kicker,
Oh,
the kick was it? I think that his name Bucker.
Harrison-
Butker.
whatever. His last name doesn't matter.
I
Yeah,
thought it
he
was
sucks.
Bucker.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Butker.
Bucker, Butter,
Butker.
Butker. Yeah, it's Harrison Butker.
Booty Cur. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't like him.
Anyway, so yeah, I have the Chiefs winning this game. Kenny, who do you have in the Super Bowl?
I have Baltimore going to the Super Bowl, and now
Not
it's
mad at
tough
that.
because I do think we get Baltimore Kansas City in the title game rematch from last year, and my brain wants to tell me Kansas City gets one of those close victories in some devil magic way, but my heart's telling me I want to take Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. On draft night, he said they're going to get a Super Bowl out of him, and I think this is his year. He's had the best year statistically, and I think he goes into Kansas City and gets his revenge, and I think they actually do it in kind of the fashion how the Bills beat Kansas City earlier this year, where they kind of took control of that game, and that's kind of what you need to do to beat Kansas City. So I believe in Lamar. It's tough because Harbaugh and Lamar have been together for a while and haven't been able to get over the hump. Same thing with Buffalo, but we saw it with Tony Dungy and Peyton Manning. It took them a little while, and then they finally got over the hump. I think this is the year for Harbaugh and Lamar to do that. So
I think Lamar gets one eventually.
Ravens.
So I wouldn't be. I'm not mad at this pick. I'm picking Kansas City this year. So who do we have for the NFC?
So you guys all have the Eagles versus the Lions. Everybody's wanting to see this matchup a lot like everyone's wanting to see Ravens Bills in the second round and whoever the Chiefs would play in the championship. This is a 1-2 seed, two heavyweight teams. I think I know where Barrett and Devin are going. Sean, are
I
we
don't
going
know.
with the Lions? Because I'm going with the Lions.
I'm gonna go with the Lions on this one. This isn't. I go back and forth. I'm be honest with you. When this game comes, I may flip. I'm gonna just so y'all don't hold me to this. I may flip when this game comes.
Right.
But there's something special about Detroit. I feel like Detroit just has that magic juice. Like it's something like when the Eagles in 2017, where it's just like, I don't care who get hurt. I don't care that Jason Peters is out. I don't care that this guy's out. We rocking and we rolling. There's something about Detroit where it go, I don't care. Like everyone's saying, with all your defense and everyone getting hurt and da-da-da, all right, we're still going to blow the doors off the Minnesota Vikings. We're still going to blow the doors off of everybody. And I think their ability to just say, we're going to score 30-plus points regardless, and you got to keep up. And if any team could keep up, it could be the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously. But Detroit, like if this game was in Philadelphia, I would pick Philadelphia hands down.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's in Detroit, because there's something magical happening in Detroit with that dome, because of David Montgomery coming back in that offense, I don't think, even though the Eagles are tremendous defensively this year, I don't think anybody holds Detroit to 1-30, regardless of how good defense you play, because of all the weapons they have, and Jameis Williamson is the X factor. I don't care who you put on.
I don't think he's the X factor. I think that Tim Patrick is actually the X factor.
Well, he could be too.
Big
It's just
size, you know what I'm saying?
like you go, Cooper DeJean. Well, I mean, Cooper doesn't run a 4, damn near 1, right? Like it's just James. Like I'm gonna stretch the doors off of this thing regardless. So I have Detroit in this one. We got to hurry up and get to the Super Bowl, so we all know. And who do you have, Kenny? Real quick, tell us who you have going in the Super Bowl too.
Well, so Barrett and Devin are both picking the Eagles, correct?
Yeah.
You guys
And
are both
you know
picking
it.
the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl?
and you know it.
We'll allow them to discuss the Super Bowl instead of this one because we only got a few more minutes left.
No problem. Yeah, I've got the Ravens and Lions. So actually, we all have different Super Bowl matchups. So Sean, you have Chiefs versus Lions, the two top seeds. Devin has Bills versus Eagles, the two number 2 seeds, and then Barrett has a rematch of 2 years ago, Chiefs Eagles. I have the Ravens against the Lions in my Super Bowl. So those are like probably the 4 most popular Super Bowl exact matchups. So maybe one of us will be right. There's a pretty good chance. So we'll start
Wrong.
with you.
I'm right. Wrong. No.
We'll start with you, Sean. Do you got the Chiefs three-peating, or are the Lions going to win it all?
I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. Although I feel like again a three-peat's never happened, so something usually happens is even you think about 80 Niners won 88, 89, and then in 90 they were the best record in football, but then ended up losing to the Giants in the NFC Championship game. Something similar could happen. I could see that being the Bills or Baltimore knocking them off, but I think the hidden thing with the Kansas City Chiefs is they don't lose coordinators. Right? Like, I think that's the biggest problem.
How is that, though?
Because Steve Spagnuolo has been a lifetime defensive coordinator, and he doesn't want to go anywhere at this point. And Andy Reid calls the offensive plays, and obviously he's the head coach. So if you have your two coordinators, that means you can be a dynasty, right? The Eagles in 2017,
Yeah, the Eagles
they
have a lot
lose
of
their
turnover.
coordinators. In 2022, they lose their coordinators. They got to revamp. This year, they may lose Kellen Moore because of how great Kellen Moore is, because he has ambitions to be a coach. And then the Detroit Lions, I think this is their final chance because they're going to lose Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
Right,
and they
it's
kept him last year, which is really big.
Which is
because
why they are where they are.
Yeah.
I think the Kansas City Chiefs have a dynasty because they keep their defensive mind and their offensive mind. And everyone else who gets great loses. Of course, 49ers have been through 4 or 5 different defensive coordinators.
Mhm.
Like, everyone else loses their coordinators,
Mhm.
which creates inconsistency. And that's why the Kansas City Chiefs do not have inconsistencies.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a good point. It's a really good point.
Dev, your
Mhm.
Super Bowl pick.
So I would say I could also totally see it being the Eagles Chiefs again for a rematch. But I have Eagles Bills. I mean, what a chaotic matchup, just fan base wise. New Orleans would have to prepare for that. In
Bourbon-
New Orleans
yeah.
too,
Bourbon
chaotic
Street.
city.
Crazy ass people.
Crazy. Just like, yeah, that would be so fun.
No
but
tables, making their own snowballs, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. At the end of the day, the X factor and the reason I think that the Eagles have the edge in all of these hypothetical matchups is that their defense has really proven themselves under Vic Fangio, who luckily is not going to go anywhere because
He's a
light.
light. He's
as a
Spags.
DC here in Philly.
My head coaching job is that's no longer happening. Yeah.
And I think that the Eagles defense could get the best of that Bills offense. It worries me, like the Eagles defense seems to not do well against quarterbacks who can turn on the wheels and run. Like we saw that the Panthers, not a good team, but Bryce Young started cruising and kept it close, and the Eagles defense didn't know what to do with him. So that worries me in terms of Josh Allen, but I think the Eagles are the overall better team. They have the better defense.
Barrett.
You know you ain't gonna ask me.
Mhm.
Eagles win against the Chiefs. Rematch. They finally, Jalen doesn't fumble. We don't have, anybody, out there to hold last second. I think this is gonna be a total domination. The big kahuna finally loses to one of the teams that, in the Super Bowl that he coached. So I think Eagles win. And I just think they got the better roster going into this Chiefs team.
Kenny, what do you got real quick?
It's really tough for me to pick. Lions, Ravens is my Super Bowl. I'm actually going to go to the Lions because I was more high on them coming into the season. So I'm going to pick the Lions as my Super Bowl champion.
Not mad at that. That would be fun for the Lions. Another team who's never gotten one, finally getting one. All right. Only 60 seconds. Best bet. We're going to skip start one, bench one, cut one. Obviously, let's give out some quick best bets.
Well, I didn't get to give my anytime touchdown parlay this week, so I'm going to give that here. For my touchdown scores, I like James Cook from the Bills. I like Mark Andrews from the Ravens. He's had a touchdown in the last 6 straight games, I believe. And Bucky Irving from the Bucks. Bonus pick, Saquon Barkley for the Eagles.
There you go.
I like it.
I'm just
I
gonna
like
go
it.
I'm going Ravens cover 10 over my Steelers. Yeah, they've covered. And I think Chargers +3 over Texans.
Okay, I like it. I got Saquon 100 and a touchdown, Derrick Henry 100 and a touchdown, and Justin Jefferson
-3. I'm sorry.
100 and a touchdown. I'm going to pair those for maybe a big money bet. I'm sure of Derrick Henry and Saquon. The Justin Jefferson makes me a little bit nervous, but I think that's a higher scoring game, so I think I could be right on that one. Wild card, make some money, have some fun. We gave you our predictions. Yell at us if we're wrong. And we're going to be wrong about a bunch of things.
And we'll yell at
just
ourselves
how the
also.
year has been. But hopefully one of us got a Super Bowl winner. We got 3 different Super Bowl picks right here. All right, this has been the Sunday Spread once again. Devin Caney, Barrett Brooks, Sean Bell, Kenny Henderson, BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.